Hi everybody, Catherine Tappan here from the NHL on NBC. With the end of the decade approaching, we wanted to take a look back at the top 10 players of the decade as selected by our analysts. You'll hear from Jeremy Roenick, Anson Carter, Patrick Sharp, and Keith Jones. So here now are their picks.
McDavid drives his way. Here is Connor McDavid. Upstairs, what a goal! What a save by Rask! Here's a chance, Stamkos. He'll dangle right in. He scores! Steven Stamkos.
For me, this was easy. As difficult as when you look at the list of goaltenders that you could obviously choose, Jonathan Quick stood out to me. I think he accomplished so much with his athletic ability and gave the Kings the opportunity to win 2 Stanley Cups. Without Jonathan Quick in his prime, I don't think the LA Kings were winning. And if you remember, the Kings barely squeaked into the playoffs on a couple of times that they went on long runs, and Quick had to make spectacular saves. He also had to be an emotional leader for the team as well. I can remember frequently looking at him and his reactions in the net when he was upset with the way the guys were playing in front of him, going up and down the bench and getting everybody going that way. So he really pushed the envelope, and also in a day and age where big matters in net, he's not a big guy, and he still found a way to get it done by playing his position with great athleticism. And it was a great show to watch him in his prime.
A guy that's withstood the decade, who's adapted to a lot of different changes in the game, is Zdeno Chara of the Boston Bruins. He's been around a long time, but a guy at that size, he's adapted to the speed of the game. The long reach certainly helps. His leadership gets talked about all the time, and that's noticeable from the outside looking in. I don't know much about the Boston Bruins, never played there, haven't been in that locker room, but you can tell that there's a certain vibe with the Boston Bruins, and I think Chara's got a lot to do with it. He was good at the start of the decade, he's good at the end of the decade.
And he set the bar so high for an individual in the way that you not only perform, but how you act and how hard you work. He just continued to find different ways to improve, not only as a player, but as a person, and then pass that on to other people. So that's the one thing that has always stood out to me about Chara, is his ability to make everybody feel like they're a part of it. And I think that's a big reason why the Bruins have been so successful throughout the decade. Players like Chara, and of course some help from Bergeron along the way, but those guys have really done a great job in passing along leadership qualities that will serve the Bruins well long after the time that they've moved on.
Yeah.
Drew Doughty played against him during the decade so much. LA, with all the success that they had, Drew Doughty was front and center with that, not just with the National Hockey League. He did it internationally, Team Canada. He was always an impact player. He made the 2010 team, I think, as a really young player, kind of blew some people away with how well he handled that situation. And then again, in 2014, he was arguably the best player.
It's Duncan Keith, a guy that Sharpie knows well, and from covering every one of his Stanley Cup championships, he was, in my eyes, the most important player on the ice frequently. Throughout every Stanley Cup championship that he won, he was on the ice more than anybody else. He showed great speed, great composure, great influence on the game, and in my eyes, he is an easy choice.
Patrice Bergeron. Wow. Mr. Perfect. Wow. Perfection line. Just does everything well, winning Selkies. His number 37 will be up in the rafters at some point, the TD Garden Arena there in Boston, along with all those other jerseys up there. So
how can you not have Bergeron there? You want to talk about one of the most intelligent, one of the most creative, best leaders. You know, he's won the Selkies, won the Stanley Cup.
Evgeny Malkin. Travesty he was left off the top 100 players in the National Hockey League. It's a joke. I mean, what were they thinking not leaving him on there? Winning scoring titles, winning cups, being a monster in the postseason. I love everything about Gino's game.
Guys, I agree with you with Malkin. He's one of my favorite guys to watch because he brings everything. Grit, tenacity, he's mean, scores goals, he's an assist guy. He's always up there in penalties. I mean, that's my type of player. He's an old school type player.
But I go Andrei Kopitar, but Kopi's won Selkies, won cups in LA. He's quietly getting it done every single year. He's fourth now in career points in LA Kings history, over 900.
Kopitar, when Wayne Gretzky called him during their cup runs the third best player on the planet.
In the world, yeah.
Third best player on the planet. I mean, when Wayne Gretzky tells you you're in the top 3 best players
pretty impressive
on the planet, then you have to start listening and paying attention. I think Kopitar has proven that he deserves to be on this great call. And I'm going to go on the other side with Patrick Kane. This guy continues to be one of the most electrifying, one of the best goal scorers, one of the best playmakers, one of the most feared guys in the National Hockey League in terms of defenseman scare. That's what Kane brings. And he's won cups, he's won MVPs, he's done it all.
Normally we don't agree with everything, but in that situation there, JR, I agree with you 100%.
I love it. See, we're starting off good.
Easy, too easy.
Number two, you can't, on the wing, Alex Ovechkin, the best goal scorer that we have seen since Wayne Gretzky, Brett Hull. But the only guy I think has a chance to catch Wayne Gretzky's goal record, which is an amazing thing to talk about. You know, 8 or 9 50-goal seasons, probably get another one this year. Now Stanley Cup winner. I'm going to go with my first inkling of the first line, which I think everybody should agree with. Sidney Crosby.
Yep.
Right down the middle. I don't think there's been a player since Wayne Gretzky that's affected the National Hockey League as much as Sidney Crosby's cups, awards, everything you can ask for in a captain is Sidney Crosby.
Sidney Crosby does it again.